Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, March 9th, and we have our special guest today. Today, we are going to be talking with State Senator Moe Maestas, District 26, and one of the biggest champions of the Westside, I would have to say.
Thank you.
So, for all of those roads and parks and all of the nice stuff that we have around, we want to thank the good senator here for funding a lot of these projects. So welcome on to the show. How's it? We just wrapped up a session, and now you get to relax a little bit.
Yeah, I got to go back to work. It's great to be here. It's great to be on the podcast. Albuquerque Westside Business Association's awesome. Made a tremendous impact. So as you know, I grew up in the North Valley, moved out to Seattle after high school. My uncle was a iconic civil rights figure, so I joined the civil rights movement and learned so much. Eventually went to college and came back for law school. So when I came back, the North Valley was like, whoa, what the heck? What the heck happened? So I couldn't afford to live in the North Valley, but it worked out. So I became a West Sider ever since, and been a West Sider, for over 30 years.
Yeah, it's great to be a West Sider and just seeing all the growth and development over that period of time. So what would you say the biggest, development in recent years has been here on the West Side?
Gosh, I think the development across St. Pius is historic. The folks who own that land were committed to not selling it to housing development.
Right.
They wanted to increase the commercial capacity along Coors. So that's going to be fun. I mean, Olive Garden and all the things going up. And then a couple years ago, Starbucks and Lotta Burger and stuff like that. It seems ridiculous, anywhere else. But here, you literally have to drive 10 minutes to buy a gallon of milk, stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. But in terms of impact, it was the Amazon, I call it the factory, but the Amazon building way the heck out on the west side. You could actually see it on the horizon when you're driving throughout Albuquerque. But that increased the minimum wage more so than we did at the state level. We raised the minimum wage from $7.50 to $12 an hour incrementally and responsibly. And then boom, they were making $16-17 an hour. So we have, decent wages and hopefully folks survive COVID and their wages kept above inflation. But there is just tons of land all the way to the Rio Puerco that theoretically could be a brand new city. And I think that's what needs to happen because we need a city to support state government.
Right.
The big rap in Santa Fe, and I don't agree with the rap, but the rap is, well, when oil goes away, how are we going to have a tax base? Well, you have a tax base with a city. Arizona has Phoenix, Colorado has Denver. Obviously, we're not going to be that big, and we don't need to be. But I look forward to the city growing and becoming what we want it to be.
Right. And, a lot of times when I talk in public hearings to support some of these projects, the West Side really is the only place where the city can grow. So we definitely need more of these developments. And so finishing up this session, I know there were some bills that you were working on having to do with zoning.
Yes, and so you're right. We cannot grow north, Sandia Pueblo, cannot grow east, Sandia Mountains, cannot grow south, Isleta Pueblo. The only place to grow is west. That's the only place to grow is west, and that's so folks shouldn't be sniveling when the west side starts to grow. But what does that mean? I mean, we got to change our zoning ordinances. We got to kind of modernize and just learn from other cities. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So Minnesota changed its zoning laws in 2017. Their rents actually stayed the same during COVID, while our rents increased 60% during that exact same time. And their housing stock, so to speak, the numbers of apartments, townhomes, duplexes, starter homes increased 14%. Ours increased about 5%. So it's just, in Santa Fe, we put millions of dollars into low-income housing. We try to subsidize economic activity. Just change the rules. Just change our zoning laws and allow the market to take place. Apartments are cheaper than houses. Townhomes are cheaper than houses. Duplexes are cheaper. Starter homes are cheaper than $300,000, $400,000 homes. So hopefully the city will get there. It's a tough road to hoe. In Santa Fe, my bill died at the city. It got defeated 5-4, but it's only a matter of time because it takes a time to kind of work through these policies when they first hit your desk.
Right. So that did fail, but you did have some success this past session in Santa Fe. What in a just kind of quick wrap up, what happened in Santa Fe
Tremendous.
during this session?
Tremendous success. It was hats off to the Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham and her team. She had the most successful 8th year of any governor before her. The 3 governors prior who had served 8 years. So it was a pretty impactful 30-day session. The 30-day session is antiquated and needs to go away, but we're stuck with it for the time being. But we reformed our Medical Malpractice Act to invite doctors back to New Mexico, make them feel at home. We passed a $11 billion budget, but also a road package. I support a gas tax. You get punched out if you mention a gas tax in a bar, but we have to build our roads. We have to have better infrastructure. So we bonded. We essentially passed a bill that allowed state government to sell bonds on the open market and do $1.5 billion in road improvements. That's going to be tremendous for our state.
Absolutely. And there was also Senate Bill 3, the I don't know the exact name, but you were one of the co-sponsors of the bill.
Yes, thank you. So it was a governor's bill. I had the honor of being the prime sponsor last year. Got it through the Senate, failed in the House. This year we got it on the governor's desk. She signed it a couple of days ago, and it deals with the Assisted Outpatient Treatment Act and tweaking the definition of harm to self, harm to others, which seems trivial. From a lawyer standpoint, it's kind of cool. The old language was, are they more likely than not in the near future to do this, that, or the other? The new language is they have, in the recent past, they did this, that, or the other. So it's a way to convince a judge that our loved ones need help, and they commit them into assisted outpatient treatment. It's tricky because the government's making them go to treatment or whatnot, but it beats the alternative, which is jails and prisons.
Right. And,
or worse than that, suicide and horrible things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to stop things like that. But you do have a town hall coming up. Is it this weekend?
No. Yes, there is. Yes, I'm doing a town hall. It's organized by Joy Garrett and some other reps. So it's the 14th, Saturday morning. Should be a great town hall. And man, you got like 8 politicians, so you get to hold us accountable. We each kind of have our different niche. The Westsiders work relatively well together in terms of sharing capital and getting projects through. So it'll be neat. It's like one-stop shopping. Definitely go. It takes an hour and a half, drink a cup of coffee and listen to what the Westside politicians have to say.
Sure, yeah. And it's pretty much all of the Westside legislators, right?
I think so, yeah. I was honored to be invited, and I believe it is this Saturday at 10:30 to 12 at Taylor Ranch.
Community Center. So for anyone, wanting to talk to your legislator or find out what happened this past session, I definitely recommend you go out and attend and get that one-on-one conversation with the people that make the laws for our area.
Yeah, it's disappointing when your bills don't pass. I had a great police training bill that passed the Senate, failed in the House. A bill dealing with cell phones. It's tough politics because everybody wants to call and text their kids, but we want to prohibit cell phones from opening bell till the end of school. So that actually passed the Senate as well. So those will become law here in the next year or two. Folks get so incredibly frustrated when their bills don't pass, but in a 30-day session, you're not going to pass massive policy initiatives. So some of our friends were upset about that, but if the idea is a good idea, it's ultimately going to pass.
Yeah, but you did a great job because you did get some bills passed.
That's
so especially in a 30-day session when it's short, you don't get much done. Great job on
Thank you so much. Yeah, you have to listen. You have to listen to your colleagues and get them to come your way.
Yeah. So now that this session is over, we're going to be heading into governor's race. What are your thoughts?
It's exciting. The last couple governor's races, it was like a given as who was going to win on the Democratic side. Now it's going to be a battle. So it's hopefully a battle of ideas. The best ideas will emerge. New governor has a lot of capital coming in their first year, so I'm sure they'll have a great agenda. And the legislature gets to push their bills that the current governor wasn't too privy on. So it gives us a chance to do a reset. And sadly, with the war in Iran, oil prices are going through the roof again. which is a bummer at the tank, but it's good for state government. We'll have a fistful of dollars to improve this state with the money coming in from oil drilling.
I think that's like a concern of people is the oil and gas money. Obviously, that's what keeps the state funded. The biggest thing that keeps the state funded. What happens if that goes? What's
Well, that's why we have to build a city. If we had a city, the city really, we get taxes basically through gross receipts tax, the sales tax essentially. And the more economic activity in Albuquerque, the better off the state is. We have tremendous oil reserves, as you know, down in the Permian by Carlsbad, Artesia, Hobbs. Those leases were signed in the 30s and the 50s. And so what folks need to understand is it's our oil. The oil belongs to the state of New Mexico as a legal entity. So, oil companies lease the land, they drill the oil, they sell it on the international market, and then we get our cut, so to speak. So that's how we have free college. That's how we have free early childhood education. That's why we're able to build all these roads and good stuff. Actually, the roads, I misspoke. The roads come from the gas tax, which we haven't raised in a while, but I'll keep trying. But it is bizarre. In Albuquerque, we don't think about oil or oil drilling. As a kid, I never knew we drilled oil or anything like that. But we are the second. We drill the most oil of any other state except for Texas.
Did not know that either. Actually, I probably did, but didn't really think. I mean, that's pretty huge.
Yeah. We passed Oklahoma, North Dakota, Alaska, California. So there's a lot of concern, with that industry and with the crude oil, when it gets burnt in vehicles and stuff like that. So, the world is changing, maybe not as fast as we want it to, but I think all the major countries are dealing with this issue. We can't control demand, but we're one of the big suppliers, and it benefits New Mexicans. So my plan is to use that oil money to build a future so that it's no longer needed.
Yeah, great. So now, again, session over. What do you have working on in the interim?
Well, it's great. I mean, shucks. Well, I'm back to work, but I have an assistant. So definitely get a hold of me. Get a hold of my assistant, Joe Noriega. Our emails are accessible. You can call me or text me. What we're going to do is devote Fridays to legislative days. So I'll be a lawyer Monday through Thursday, get my cases moving. And then on Friday, just devote that time to meetings, reading and writing, getting our bills ready for next year. Working with colleagues, helping them be successful. And so what's going to be neat is politically, at this first time I've never had to run, because House members run every 2 years. When I joined the Senate, the race was that next year. So this is the first cycle that I'm not running, which is new to me. So hopefully I can get some good work done. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll know who's running in the various races, who turns in their signatures and whatnot, see who of our colleagues have opposition either in the general or the primary. So hopefully it'll be a good clean races here on the Westside, and those closest to the people will emerge as lawmakers next year.
Yeah, we will soon find out. We could get some new or keep the same ones here on the Westside. So you never know.
You never know. Hopefully they're not as ugly as in years past, but what I am going to be working on, Melissa, is a bosque restoration. The bosque, believe it or not, is a state park in state statute, but it's not affiliated with the State Parks Department. It's managed by the Middle Rio Grande Conservancy District with a memorandum of understanding with the city of Albuquerque. So the city and the district both work on bosque restoration. They do a great job. So hopefully we can clear out all that hazardous fuel and avoid fires during this upcoming fire seasons.
Yes, definitely. That's great. Need it. So just kind of switch subjects. You're also a very huge supporter of New Mexico sports. And so...
I don't think I could hide that. But yeah, it's sports to me was introduced by my dad. He was this really cool sports writer. And he, I'm not the throw the brick at the TV when the Cowboys lose. No disrespect to my Cowboy fan friends, but I just love sports and what it does for community, what it does for development, particularly team sports. You can learn life lessons through participating in sports as a young person. So yeah, I definitely increasing our sports capacity here in the state. When COVID hit, we became the least active state in the country when it came to youth sports. Just crushed youth sports. So now it's a question of building it back. That's why I struggle with the NMAA with regards to letting students play, whether they move or not, and Lobo football. There's a basketball town. We love Lobo basketball, but you can't build a successful athletic department with a basketball program. That's been the misnomer. It's been a falsehood. We must have a competitive and successful D1 football program for all of Lobo athletics to succeed, all of New Mexico State athletics to succeed. And if we can get there, which people think we can't, but we're almost there, we can join the rest of the civilized world and play competitive D1 football, and that'll be a pride of our state.
Important stuff, though. Definitely sports are an economic driver, too. So I know there was funding set aside for an indoor sports complex here on the west side. Do you have any updates or any idea on what the progress of that sports complex
It
is?
should be moving forward. And so
Okay.
the indoor sports complex was the late City Councilor Ken Sanchez's dream. The city petitioned the legislature for more funding. I think we got close to $1 million more this year. The bills will be signed by Wednesday at noon, but I don't anticipate any vetoes with regards to capital. And so I don't know what the city has planned, but I think there's about $5 or $6 million in the pot,
Wow.
and hopefully that project will happen. Hopefully we don't have to go back to Santa Fe, but we can get that project going. But I don't know the details just yet.
Yeah, I mean, that whole area, like you had mentioned earlier, the Olive Garden, now Raising Cane's that just opened a couple of weeks ago. It's, really looking nice, that whole, and I know a lot of people were concerned about the traffic, but it doesn't, I mean, initially when they were doing the road work, traffic was, bad, but that's expected. But now it just seems to be seamless, and I don't see any issues with it.
The traffic's traffic, it is
Yeah.
what it is. We just have to deal with it. But if the stores are closer, if restaurants are closer, you drive less. That's
Right.
the counter argument. But for those folks listening at home, it's catty corner from St. Pius. It's closer to Atrisco than it is to Coors, but it's essentially 9 basketball courts under the same roof. Multi-generational, Wi-Fi, coffee shop. You can have tournaments. You can do wrestling. You can do volleyball. Tennis, I suppose, but it's every city, all the mid-sized cities in the south have them. And so if Albuquerque has an indoor sports complex, it'll be fantastic for youth tournaments and coaches will have more places to play basketball. There's not a lot of places to play basketball to coach your teams.
Right. And just like you were saying, what COVID did to youth sports is something that can, rebuild our youth sports.
I think so too. There's great athletes in Albuquerque. We just gotta hopefully improve give the coaches the training they deserve and really develop these young people through sports activity.
Awesome. Well, I know you are short on time, and we appreciate you taking the time to come in, just kind of talk a little bit. We'll definitely have you back on and get into depth of more Westside development and other stuff. But before we leave, any last words that you'd like to say?
Just that everyone have a great spring, great summer. I think Albuquerque and the state is having this wonderful conversation about our future, what to do with our future. I think we're at that point where we realize we can create a future, that the world's not going to dictate for us what happens, but we're going to actually take action to create this wonderful future. And it starts with building our economy. I know I use it like economic terms because that's what I studied in school, but if the best way to fight crime is with a job. The best way to deal with toxic environments in a household is increase that household standard of living. And so if we can build our economy, make our communities stronger and more sound, then our best and brightest will stay home, and Albuquerque will be the it place in this country in the next decade.
Yeah, and the west side is the best side.
No question about it.
Have to throw that in. But again, State Senator Antonio Moe Maestas, actually, how can people reach you? How can they contact you?
Awesome. So go to nmlegis.gov. That's the website. The email is just what you said, antonio.maestas@nmlegis.gov. My assistant, Joe Noriega, joe.noriega@nmlegis.gov. I think most folks have my number. Give me a call, give me a text, and Fridays, let's meet up, grab some coffee or whatnot. If you need me to go to your neighborhood group or see a project you're working on, maybe I can be helpful. But yeah, get a hold of me and I'll be around all spring and summer.
Awesome. Thank you. And then just a reminder, we have our upcoming cornhole tournament, which will be on April 25th. thanks to our title sponsor, Albuquerque ER and Hospital. We are signing up teams. There's still opportunities for sponsorship, so go to the website, abqwestside.org, and hit the events page. All the information will be there. Thanks again for being on
Thanks
the
for having me.
show, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you then.